On a different note, Candace Owens has left the Daily Wire in a very public dispute with Ben Shapiro. Um, this was kind of weird. It was kind of a weird split. But I was going to use this to say this is kind of more of a sign of where the media is heading. I mean, the Daily Wire isn't a corporate media company of the likes of Fox, MSNBC, and CNN and such, but it is sort of it's more of a sign of independent journalism and, settings of podcasts and settings of people kind of speaking their mind freely without having to answer to anybody. That appears to be where journalism and the media is pushing more towards. I mean, you have people like Tucker Carlson, Chris Cuomo, and now Candace Owens. I think you'll see this a lot more of independent journalism. It's trending upward. And we have people like Candace Owens who are leaving places like the Daily Wire. I mean, the Daily Wire, of all places, is a very conservative and open place where you can say what you think. Even people at those places are seeing that the independent journalist route is better for them. So I think that's a good illustration of where media is going. I mean, corporate media is losing its grip on controlling the narrative. I mean, maybe not with everybody, but I think widespread people who get their news from places like X, where they can hear from independent journalists and see it for themselves. They don't have to see it through the filter of the mainstream media and what they decide to show you. They can see raw footage of it and make up their own minds on it. So I think I think it's a very positive trend because it just pushes freedom of speech, first off, and freedom of information. That is a big part of living in a democracy is having freedom to have the full information, the full story on things. And I think, especially if you're living in a politically polarized state like the United States is right now, and the corporate media is playing the politics game just like the politicians, if not worse, I think any route where independent journalists can provide information unfiltered, uncontrolled, just the raw truth, what they think on it, but also letting people decide what they think on it. I think that is a breath of fresh air from the toxic places like the corporate media where it's nothing but a game and I got you game, and there's no progress being made. There's no freedom of information to let the viewer decide. We're going to tell you what this is and what to think, and if you think otherwise, then stop watching, pretty much. So I think this is a good sign towards that direction. I think Candace Owens will do great. Obviously, she has a massive audience, so I don't think she'll have any trouble. Doing things on her own instead of being with the Daily Wire. What's pretty interesting, Ben Shapiro seems to be making a lot of enemies within the conservative field. Tucker Carlson and him have had a very public beef for some reason.